Good morning. Hand today is going to be Jack 10 of clubs. In this hand, we have mid position player raises. He's playing 25-18. When we look at his raise first in stat, it's about 21%. Limp first in 7%. 1 out of 14. It doesn't seem to do a whole lot of limping. That limp could be explained. Maybe it was 5-handed, 6-handed, something like that. I generally think he's not going to be limping a whole lot. I mean, he's got 57 hands, so maybe it was just an accident too, misclick. But we're going to put together a range that looks something like that. Heavy in his Broadway. The reason I say that is because we have called 3 bets out of position with King 10. I'm going to assume he raised first in with that King 10 off and then called. So I'm going to say all of the Broadway he's had pocket pairs down to 5. This is 22%. Maybe we get rid of those two. It gets us closer to 21%. I think that's reasonable. Question mark is on these suited aces. Now it's on us. What do we do? Well, we've got Jack 10. If we look at our button versus mid position play, we've got a 3-bet range that looks something like that, and a 3-bet or call range that looks something like this. Against this player, we don't know what he's going to do in terms of folding to a 3-bet. So I guess you could say fold 3-bet after a raise is 0. So maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't raise with that King 10. Anyway, could raise. We could take it. We look at the players behind us. Some of them do look loose. If I call, I probably think one's going to come along. If we look at this player, for example, his call 2-bet from small blinds 27%. That's out of 3,000 hands. This guy's many fewer hands. He's 0 out of 6. We're going to be in ultimate position. If we raise, we're going to tighten up his range. So I think if we range, we're probably getting rid of some of these weaker hands, probably a lot weaker suited aces, probably making a much stronger range that our hand really isn't going to do a whole lot better against. I think we've got potential to really capitalize on it. So I think when I just call here, I'm okay with that. Again, we could also 3-bet, but here I'm okay with calling and hoping to play position and try to take down the pot, either by hitting or not hitting. Villain 4 comes along. We already saw he's going to play about 27% of hands, and this guy is, so this is my calling range. This guy is going to be fairly wide. When we look at his call 2-bet from bind range, we can see pocket pairs, 8s to 3s. You've got suited aces, ace 8 to ace jack. You've got ace 4 to ace 5, ace 2. So I'm going to say suited aces. If we look at the suited kings, it does look like he's playing all of the suited kings. The suited queens, I don't think he's playing all of them. I think maybe queen 9, maybe queen 8. And then once we get to the lower suited, I think it's going to have to be connected or one gappered, down to about maybe 5-4 or 4-2. Maybe he has those suited gappers, like really low suited gappers. On the offsuit side of things, I do think he's playing some offsuit aces. It looks like he plays ace 4, ace 2. But then that's about it for like the major gaps. He's playing broadways, and then he's playing suited offsuit suited connectors. So I've got my suited connectors here, and then we look at, if we add all of his offsuit aces, that gets to 32%. And then if we add these hands, that because I had 4-2 plus, 4-2 suited plus, we're up to 36, and maybe that's about right. If we look at his pre-flop call, we said it was 27. That's 33%. Maybe that's about right. Maybe we get rid of some of the pocket pairs and say he's probably going to raise with those. Maybe he raises with like ace jack offsuit, like ace jack plus. So just generally a wider range. So 3 of us go to a flop of 7-6-2. That does not help us. Really just over pairs, and I think at this point, I think we're probably just going to be done. So villain checks, and then the raise first in guy checks as well. So what's he gonna check with? His c-bet stats actually pretty low, at 33%, and but that's just 1 out of 3. So I'm gonna say sets and overpairs are probably out. Um, Probably top pairs out. I think it's looking like something like this: no made hand. Maybe even the flush draws are out. I think a lot of people will bet the flush draw and possibly even the open ender. Um, so we're looking something that's fairly weak, which is good for us. But then again, we have to ask ourselves, what about this guy? If we look at this guy, if we bet, what's he going to call? I think he's got quite a few hands that he could call with. He definitely has no made hands. It's just one of those things. Is he going to call with 2 overs and then, force us to make 2 bets to try to take down the pot? Because it's looking right now that this is a great opportunity to bet. Great opportunity to bet. But if you think about our range is actually going to miss this quite frequently. When you think, what could he possibly have? Pocket pairs, overcards. That's about it. So it's one of those things where if I bet here, one of these guys could call and then check to see what I do on the turn. If I don't fire again on the turn, I probably was just betting as a bluff. So when we ask ourselves, what are we going to do? I mean, we could bet with a good flush draw, and we bet with our sets. So let's break this down. Yeah, we bet with our sets, and then we fire with our flush draw, and that's probably what we could do, what we could bet. Maybe even fire with like a good gut shot. 10-9, we're drawn to the 8. But I think all other pair. I mean, we've got overpair. Overpair is going to be tough to play. I mean, you're looking at ace, king, queen, jack. Diamonds are all going to be scary for us. And again, I don't think we're going to be getting some of the folds that we need. So maybe it's just a delayed type bet here. So I'm okay with checking this. I think I am. I think I'm okay with checking this. So you can see just with the ranges, we're going to be at the bottom of the ranges. I mean, just overall cards. We're really just only looking at those pocket pairs. That's really what's given us some equity. So the river's a 6 of hearts. Obviously, that doesn't help us. First player checks. After it goes check check, I think maybe quads will check here. Possibly full house. We could actually scale those a little bit, but I think 3 of a kind's betting. I think overpair is gonna bet. Maybe even the top pair is gonna bet at this point. So, what about the flushes? Those are questionable. Those are questionable, but I think that's this player. Again, we're starting to make his range weaker now that it has a check. This next villain has a check here. So at this point, I don't think, I mean, full house, maybe he's slow playing, but at this point, oops, made the mistake. We kind of took those out. I should have did that. There it is. There it is. That's better. All right, so 3 of a kind, I think he bets. Probably also checking any flush draws as well. So we're looking at that. So we've got 2 guys now. It looks like our range is looking the strongest. And I chose to check. And is that okay? I think now we would be betting the overpair 100%. I think probably pocket pair less than the second card we're betting. I think we're probably betting flush draws, probably all of our flush draws, and probably betting our gut shots. And we're going to probably have to do some bluffs as well. So really, maybe we should be betting everything here. Let's check that out. If we bet overpair, that's for value. Those are semi-value. We're doing all of our flush draws, all of our gut shots. Yeah, we're gonna have to do like a bunch of these. So we're looking at, we can do all of our overcards here. Maybe just that. No, okay, so I take that back. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't bet 100% here. And you can see Jack 10 does fall into one of those ranges. We're not betting. Yeah, we do want some equity if called, and I do think we're going to be getting called by flush draws, and we might get called by some overcards. This is just not a good flop for Jack 10. And then 10 of hearts hits. So the flush gets there. We hit our top pair. Both players check. So the question is, can I get some value from it? I think at this point, I don't think full house or flush is going to be checking. Maybe the straight. That's this player. This player again checks. I don't think the flush is checking. So maybe top pair, maybe weak pair, ace high, nothing, something like that. So both of those are looking pretty good, and we're sitting here with basically a top pair type hand. So if we go top pair, we're like just way ahead. If we bet, what kind of hands are going to call? Maybe we could get called by an ace X, but really I don't think we're getting called by worse. I really don't. So I checked behind. We had ace 10 here, we had king jack there, so let's check to see if we had it. Does this guy have king jack? Yep, definitely, he still has it. It's part of the nothing range. The other player had ace 10, so we're not getting him to fold. We saved ourselves some money here. We have ace 10 in his range, and that would be top pair. So just kind of unfortunate that we hit our 10, and really, if you look at it, look at that. He had ace 10, he had king jack. No, we were beat no matter what. If we caught a 10 or a jack, we were going to be beat. And I think with a 10 or a jack, none of these guys will be folding. So how do I think I played this hand? Not terrible. I do think we had potential to bet. We could have bet the flop, we could have bet the turn, but I think we had other hands in our range that would do better as a bet. If we knew players are really only going to continue with one pair, then yeah, we made a mistake. We should be firing. But just because the hand turned out the way it doesn't mean that we should have played it differently as a way to pick up the pot. I don't know if this guy's going to call on the turn. I don't know if this guy's going to call on the turn. And it's one of those things. We bet on the turn and he calls or he calls. We're going to be at a tough spot. We're going to probably just check behind, and what does that do to us? We're going to check behind because we have a showdown value hand, but we don't have any other way to win unless we have the top hand. So I think I'm okay with how this is played. Didn't turn out how I wanted to, but you're not going to flop favorably all the time either. So this is just one of those where the flop didn't really hit us very, very well. And a lot of times you just have to say, all right, let's get on to the next hand. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another one.